When I grew up, my father threatened me that if he ever caught me with anything, any drugs, even alcohol, he'd throw me out of the house. So what did I do? Never got drunk a day in my life.
Never got drunk a day in my life.
Never got drunk a day in my life.
And that's a true story. What's up, guys? Jeff Cavalier, ATHLEAN-X.com.
Jesse Lako, ATHLEAN-X.com.
So today, let's talk about drinking. What are you doing?
Well, I'm thirsty, for one, and two, it's on brand for our video topic today.
Because this is related to a question we got.
Yes, this is from an Ask Jeff question from Tyler Zidlicki. That doesn't roll off the tongue very well.
Zidlicki.
Jeff, I know you don't drink, but do you think drinking alcohol is killing my gains? It seems that my deadlift totals are inversely related to the number of beers that I drink. Real or nah? If you don't know, ask Jesse for me. Thanks, bro.
What is he drinking while he's deadlifting?
I don't know. That doesn't sound like a good idea to me, though.
He's saying alcohol is killing my gains.
Basically.
Drinking alcohol. Well, that's a good question, and it's one we need to address here today.
Not only that, but related to what he said about deadlifting, I do have a drinking and deadlifting story.
Oh, you do?
I do. I'll save that one for the end.
Okay. So let's
also, I have to interrupt you again.
You're doing a good
like sip of
job.
Beer?
I would not like a sip of beer.
Are you sure?
Did you watch the video before?
No, I really wasn't paying attention. I was getting some flashbacks there. You sure you don't want to sip?
I'm good. Well, I appreciate the offer.
Come on. Guys, leave a comment below if you want Jeff to take a sip of this beer. You know what? Let's make this interesting. What if we get 2,500 people to say that they want you to take a sip of beer? Will you take a sip of beer?
Well, I might consider it. So let's talk about whether alcohol is killing your gains, and let's talk about it from a dual standpoint here. Number one, I think people are talking about, can they, let's say, burn fat and look a certain way, and can they build muscle? I think a lot of people are really concerned about whether they can build muscle when they're drinking.
Yeah, you know, they want to look as beautiful as I do.
Or they just want to look good.
Yes.
Right? So now, when we talk about, let's talk about the body fat part first, because I think that's an easy one, and it's actually one where I feel extremely qualified to speak, because I think it has given me a supreme advantage here.
True.
If you're going to keep your caloric intake constant, then you're going to be able to maintain a caloric deficit to the point where you can burn body fat. So I think that's a good thing for people that want to drink, right? However, it's very important that we consider the other ramifications that drinking introduces. It's not just that drinking introduces, because it becomes a lot more challenging when the calories are coming from alcohol.
Okay.
Why? Number one, 7 calories per gram of alcohol versus, let's say, the 9 that are in fat, and further away from the 4 that are in carbohydrates and proteins. So you can see that on a gram per gram basis, it's pretty caloric stuff.
Yeah.
So it's going to make it more challenging to stay in that same calorically constant number, right? The second thing is, people are not satiated when they're drinking alcohol.
Is that why I can drink a bunch of beers?
That's one of the reasons why you can drink a lot of beers. I think there's other reasons too, but the fact is that we can drink more alcohol than we can other things. Even, let's say, a protein shake. How many of those are you drinking?
2 at max.
Right, or even water, right? Water is a lot more filling than alcohol. Alcohol tends to be far less satiating, which leads to other problems. The third thing is your body will actually halt the metabolism of fats and carbohydrates in order to prioritize the processing of alcohol when it enters the system, because it is perceived to be a toxin, like your processed foods.
What, I can't eat Doritos?
So it becomes a lot more challenging because of the things, the byproducts that come along with drinking. I will tell you this. One of the reasons why I believe I am as lean as I am, or have been able to maintain the level of leanness that I have for so long, is because I don't drink. As I stated in that video, guys, think about this. Over the course of, let's say I started drinking at 21, unlike Jesse, who started much sooner than that.
Whoa.
21 to 46 years old, that's 25 years of drinking that I have not done. Imagine if I drank, let's just say, 2 drinks a day, which, as you'll see here in a minute, actually isn't very bad. 2 drinks a day for 365 days a year is what? 730 drinks.
Yeah.
Per year times 25 years. On an average of 150 calories per drink, I have not consumed those calories.
That's a lot of calories.
It's a lot of calories to have saved. It makes it much easier for me to stay lean. However, if you want to be, let's say, normal and not abstain completely from alcohol,
You want to be a regular human being.
like a human being, like Jesse, then there's a few things you'd want to do. Number one, try to, while you're drinking, prioritize the lower calorically dense, higher fiber foods.
So not Doritos.
So not Doritos. So let's pretend you're at a Super Bowl party, and you reach for the veggie platter.
Oh, that's a lame Super Bowl party.
I'm just saying that the veggie platter obviously is going to fit the bill. It's going to have lower calorie foods with higher fiber content, which is going to help to keep you full, right? Because we know that you're not maintaining that fullness, so you're able to get it now through the other foods. The second thing is you want to make sure that you're decreasing your fat intake on the days that you're drinking. Why is that? Because we know that calorically, the fat is much more calorically dense, and it's something you can actually cut back, which is going to save you some of the extra calories to make room for some of the alcohol. And the third thing that we want to do is try to, at least if you're going to cut from anywhere, don't cut from proteins, because as we'll see here, proteins actually have the ability to help to increase the satiety, number one, and number two, to decrease some of the effects of alcohol. It has a blunting effect on some of the negative effects of alcohol.
Really?
In terms of its ability to, leads us to the next point here, build muscle.
Oh, wait, building muscle. That's like with the bench press over there, right?
I guess you could do a bench press if you want to do a bench press to build muscle. But I'm saying, all our exercises.
What?
So anyway, building muscle. In terms of building muscle, guys, is it a factor here? Well, of course it is, but it's all about the amount of alcohol you're consuming. This, more than any other place, is dependent upon how much you're drinking. So studies have actually shown that if you have 2 drinks a day, that it completely unaffected your ability to make gains in the gym. So that's good news.
That's great news.
So you don't have to worry as long as you're drinking in moderation, but when you start to drink to excess, and I don't like to ever really define that by the number of drinks that you're having, because people have different sizes and weights, that's going to mean a different thing for them.
So like 30 beers for me and 1 beer for you.
No beers for me. But if we talk about the guy who's got a lot of, who's a lot heavier, that's going to be a higher number. So really it's gauged on how drunk you're getting, right? Or buzzed or drunk. If you're making it a habit, then you're probably consuming too much. And there, interestingly, what happens is the impact on testosterone sort of shifts. Believe it or not, in moderation, testosterone can actually go up from drinking.
No way.
Don't get too excited, because it's not really to a clinical benefit level. It's just the fact that we know it's not going down, so it's not having a detrimental effect on your testosterone.
So it's not anabolic, but it's not catabolic.
Exactly, Jesse.
Wow, science words.
You're learning, yeah. So now if you go the opposite way, though, if you start to consume in excess, we do see dramatic decreases in testosterone that are going to have not just an acute effect at the time, but of course the cumulative effect too, because let's face it, if you're showing up to the gym every day hungover or drunk, you're not really going to be doing your best work in the gym.
That's true.
Do you want to tell about your experience in the gym?
So this is my deadlift story.
So go ahead.
Here we go. So over the summer, after a bad breakup, I was going on dates, multiple dates a week, and and I was drinking at every single date.
How many apps were you using, by the way?
Oh, just Tinder.
Okay. And?
Okay, Bumble.
And?
Hinge.
Okay.
So I was on a few dating apps. All right, whatever. And I was going on these dates, and I was having a few drinks with each date, and I didn't want to be, a stick in the mud just because I was drinking the night before. I didn't want to, not drink with this girl tonight.
Right, you gotta be a gentleman.
Gotta be a gentleman. But I noticed that the more that I was drinking, that I was stalling a little bit on my deadlift.
Right.
I had gotten up to 435, and I couldn't get any higher. I started struggling.
You weren't hungover. It was just
I wasn't hungover.
Right.
I wasn't drunk or anything like that. I just noticed that I was not as strong as I wanted to be. And there was a point where 405 was tough.
Right.
And then I backed down to 385, and I could barely get that off the ground. I don't know if you remember watching me.
No, I do. So you were seeing dramatic decreases in your ability to move the same bar you were moving with ease before.
Yes.
And you think it had something to do with
drinking.
Because
when I settled down with one girl and I stopped drinking nearly as much
Poor
as I
girl.
was. Don't be nice.
Poor girl.
When I stopped drinking as much as I was, I noticed my strength gains actually started going way up really, really quickly again.
Well, interestingly, it also can impact, again, the heavy drinking can impact your body's ability to create new proteins. So muscle protein synthesis can be impaired because of the introduction of too many drinks.
Yeah.
So again, it's another reason why you want to make sure if you're doing anything, you're drinking in moderation. So to answer Tyler's question, by the way, moderation. To answer Tyler's question, I would say, is drinking killing your gains? As always, guys, it's going to be one of those conditional things where you say, it depends. And it depends on how much you're drinking. I'm going to say most normal people are going to want to drink. So indulge without the fear of actually killing your gains, as long as you are making sure you're doing it responsibly. So with that being said,
do you want some Poland Spring? I know how much you really like water. You sound really thirsty, so.
Poland Spring? Jesse.
I thought it was a good idea.
So listen, guys, if you want to see me take a drink at some point, I guess leave 2,500 comments, and then maybe I will. Maybe in a future Jesse intro video. That ain't gonna happen. In the meantime, guys, if you found the video helpful, if you found it enlightening, leave your comments below. Tell me what your habits are, and do you think you've had any negative experiences like Jesse has with your drinking? In the meantime, if you're looking for programs, guys, where we cover the science and put it back in everything we do, you can find them over at ATHLEAN-X.com. If you found the video helpful, leave your comments and thumbs up below. And if you want to be featured in a future Ask Jeff video, make sure you leave your question below. If you haven't done so, guys, make sure you click subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a video when we put one out. All right, guys, see you soon.
Wait, Jeff.
Yes.
Take one sip.
It smells like gasoline, Jesse.
It smells like freedom.
Honestly.